Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve Ramona and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast. Steve Ramona.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am so thrilled to have you join us today. You're going to love this guest. I spent 5 minutes with him. I'm already fired up to listen and hear more from him. But we developed this podcast exploring the idea of having a purpose for your business and for your life. And what's that purpose? A servant's heart. Serving, service. I guarantee you, I get to do it daily. And having my guest on, I get to serve him. It's the most enjoyable thing in my business I get to do. And it grows your business. So there's a little ROI from that. Also, too, we've brought on guests that are going to motivate you, inspire you, educate you in the service realm. Obstacles they've overcome, stories, so many different things. So you can take it and run and change your life. And here's your call to action today, audience. Think about how you're going to serve yourself and others today and what impact you create today. Because the key word always is today. We wait. And we're going to talk sales and business. A lot of people wait on sales or wait on so many things in business. Don't wait. Do it today. See what happens tomorrow. And I want to thank our wonderful sponsor, Pantheon Alliance. Imagine joining a community of business leaders who are extremely successful that are building a thought leader platform to help you and others grow their business to make a huge impact in the world. So you want to learn more about that, just reach out to me and I'll get you all that information. With that being said, I want to welcome to our show, Roderick Jefferson. He's a sales guy, but he's much more than that. That's why I wanted him on this show. Roderick, welcome to the show.
Steve, thanks for having me, man. I am super excited about this today.
Why sales?
Pardon me?
Why sales? Why are you doing sales?
Sales was because a couple of reasons. One, from as early as I can remember in my life, I was always taught to give. And so that servant's heart was instilled in me early as a little boy. And to me, that's how I look at sales. It's literally helping people. I don't believe in the hard sell. I don't even believe in selling per se. For me, it's about asking the right questions, listening, and then tying it to how I can either help a prospect to increase productivity and efficiency or decrease pain. And sometimes the best thing I can say is it's not the right thing for you.
Yeah. We could stop the show right there. We're 2 minutes in because two things obviously said that's $1 million tip. Ask questions and listen. If you do that, 80% of sales are easy. I think, and I think you're going to agree. Easier. Thank you. That's a better word. Easier. See, I always try to look, but you're right. It's easier. So somebody listening, and most of them are entrepreneurs, business people, or even if you're a husband or wife, you're selling. We're selling everything every day. What's one challenge that you hear a lot of from people when it comes to sales?
That people don't, back to that point, they don't really listen. And they're always trying to push. And then on the buyer side, what I hear a lot is they're trying to shoehorn me into the way that they want me to buy versus understanding my culture, my company, my competition, and as well as our products and services. If they just stop for a moment and literally ask questions, I'd give them all the answers. But they're so intent on just talking.
Yeah. Too many words, not enough money. There's not enough money for too many words. You're so well said. Somebody walked up to you, or you're at and he's a speaker, keynote speaker audience. We'll talk a little bit more about that. You just did a keynote speak, and somebody walks up to you, goes, and I'm sure it was a brilliant speech. Goes, Roderick, what a great speech. What's one thing should I take today and take it home or to my office to start being a better salesperson? besides
Oh,
listening and questions?
that's a great question. And it depends upon obviously the audience, but
Yeah.
let's assuming it's sales and marketing. I would say the one thing to take back is don't think that sales is above every other piece of the organization. It requires everybody to be successful. And I would say focus on three things. One, communication, clearly, concisely, with accountability. Second is collaboration, and that's making sure that all the dots connect, but also that everybody is clear on what they're being held to and what they're being asked to do. And that, again, it's clear and concise. And the third piece is orchestration. That is, everybody has a job to do, but just like an orchestra, unless you're finely tuned and you've got one leader that's tapping that stand, it just sounds like a lot of noise.
Okay, you just turned this show into a $2 million show. That's
you.
two incredible tips. And I'm being somewhat serious. I've done all this. That's why when I went through your background, it's changed my life completely, financially, networking and stuff like that.
Thank
So
you
I
so
love what you're saying. But let's jump on the team side because people think, sales individual. It's not always individual. It's a team. Talk about team in sales.
First of all, nobody wins or loses alone. And if you do, then you're
Mm.
foolish. Let's start there. Sales has always been a team sport. And I always say sport because there's competitiveness, there's a win, there's a lose, but there's also lessons just like sports where you learn how to deal with different personalities, how to handle different cultures, how to win and how to lose gracefully, as well as never forget that there is a single common goal, and that is to make sure that you build a customer for life.
So what I'm hearing, a no is okay.
No, actually, is a good thing because sometimes I've always believed that the sales cycle really doesn't begin until you hear no. Up until then, you guys are just saying what the other one wants to hear, and you haven't asked the right question. Also, no is a great answer because no can mean a couple of different things. No can mean not right now, or no can mean we love what you're doing, but it's not what we need.
How about maybe?
Maybe I hate, and I say that strong word, hate, because there's no accountability. There's no action plan that can be tied to it. There's no smart components to it. And frankly, it's an easy way to get out of a conversation.
Yeah. Let's delve on both sides. I'm glad you're jumping on this because this is what I wanted, part of what I talk about. So let's talk on the sales guy. I'm selling something and somebody tells me maybe. How do I respond to that?
First of all, you acknowledge that you heard what they said and you give it back to them. And if I heard correctly, that was a maybe. And then I've always used humor. Is that so I've got a chance? Is that what I'm hearing? Right?
Love
Which
it.
always breaks the ice. But then the questions that I ask is it a maybe because, and I want to be very clear, is it maybe because you've talked to someone else and they didn't get what you need? Or secondly, are you not clear on how we can partner together? Because I don't want to sell you anything. So I want to make sure that we can partner together. Or third, is it maybe because the timing is off? And the fourth is it maybe, and I don't mean this disrespectful, but is it maybe because there are other people that have to be involved in this to make the decision? Or is it just you?
God, asking questions and listening. That's a great way to answer. So on the flip side of sales is the buyer side. Got the seller. Well, how's a buyer when they say maybe? How can they change that? Because maybe they're thinking maybe because I don't have the money, I don't have the time, it's not a fit today. How should I answer that instead of saying maybe?
Oh, great question. And here's where I think so many sales folks get it wrong. And it's a simple question, but if you don't ask this question, you're never going to be able to move forward. We always talk about, oh, we want to get a champion inside, someone that's on our side. You want to get a champion? Ask this one question. So, Mr. Mrs. Prospect, what is one thing that I can do for you personally to show that this is the right company to work with? Is it something that can help you get out of the doghouse? Is it that I can help you get your name in lights? Is it that I can help you to get a promotion? Is it to help you get a bigger seat at the table? We've talked about the company. I get where you guys are going. I've looked at your 10K, 10Q. I've looked at all your stuff. I want to talk about you personally, though, just for a moment. What can I do to help you personally? Think about how powerful that is. And then just stand there and don't say a word.
Yep. It's I'm rarely speechless. You made me speechless. Pretty damn good guest.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, let's check box that one big time.
I can take that off the bucket list now. I've done it.
Small bucket list. There you go. You did it. And I love what you did.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, and the question you just mentioned is a servant question. Absolutely. It's not pushy. So talk about the servitude service in regards to sales. I always say serving before selling because you eventually have to sell.
Absolutely.
Talk about how you teach people that, educate them on that.
Yeah, well, I always say it's IQ plus EQ plus AI. There's the formula. And I'll tell you what I mean. Now, everybody's, and rightfully so, everybody's on the AI bandwagon, which I am deeply involved in myself. I think it's amazingly frightening. I'll say that, how fast it's happening, right? But think about something. AI will give you content. It still requires a human to give you context. And even with that context, it requires understanding what the drivers are, as I was just saying with the last question, for you to move forward. Because at the end of the day, sales is literally three things. It solves a problem, either helping increase productivity and efficiency or decreasing pain, right? The other thing that sales does is it's an emotional buy most of the time. And then thirdly, you have to show them how you can help mitigate risk, especially in today's market, because one bad purchase can be career limiting.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you got my mind reeling. That it's so powerful. Let's jump into your book so I don't forget, because the book is going to entail a lot of this stuff. Talk about the book, and you got a book that just came out as well. Talk about what the mission is and the thought process of it.
Absolutely. Thanks for that. The book is called Sales Enablement 3.0, the blueprint to Sales Enablement Excellence. And the reason I called it that is, and I wrote the book for a couple of reasons. One, for all the go-to-market teams that are out there and how to actually, again, communicate, collaborate, and orchestrate. And the second was, and I called it a blueprint because I've been doing this now for 30 years. And I've watched the evolution of it. And it continues to get better. And at the same time, it's a little shaky sometimes because it's a little murky. But I wrote the book for people that are either in sales, sales enablement, marketing, product marketing, et cetera, or folks that are moving into it. So I give them specific good, bad, and ugly is what I give in that book, right? And the focus is, how do you become more focused on the buyer and less on your processes, programs, platforms, right? Yeah. And so what is sales enablement? It's well beyond just training, that's for sure. To me, when I think about go-to-market enablement, I think about how it integrates strategies, processes, and technologies literally to optimize the entire, let's get ready for these two words, customer lifecycle. And I'm talking about from lead gen all the way out to post-sales expansion, all the way out to renewals and retention. But it does another thing. It literally aligns all the lines of business internally, and now they become a single tsunami, if you will, of a team that's now working towards a common goal of sustainable growth and revenue.
That's the game changer for a business. You have that, you can scale.
If you don't have revenue, you just have an expensive hobby.
Yeah, exactly. That probably won't last very long, especially if it's expensive,
short-lived.
Right? You also wrote a workbook. What was the thought process of the workbook, and what does that do?
The workbook actually came from asking questions and listening to my customers and my clients. So they had the book, they had the stories, they had some basic templates, and they were like, it's great that we have this, but we have no idea how to make these things or where to find them. The workbook is literally an interactive companion workbook whereby I give them an example I give them the template, and then I have it so that it is now customizable for their particular company.
That is really cool. I like that because it engages your readers.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's
And
brilliant.
a lot of us learn by doing, right? I mean, of course, you've got the visuals, the kinesthetics, etc. But
Yeah.
most of us in sales are visual learners. And so what this also does is I don't put myself on the pedestal and say, this is the only way to do it, the best way because I said it. No, I say, here's what I've seen work and not work. Now go and adjust this for your particular company and where your company is in the maturation cycle of growth.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I'm excited to announce, audience, this is a keynote speaker. You've already listened to him for about 14 minutes, and you can tell he's pretty awesome.
Thank you so much.
Somebody listening is thinking, okay, yeah, I'd love to, hire Roderick. What will they get when they get Roderick the speaker?
What you're going to get is a keynote speaker that, first of all, is seasoned. I've spoken in 14 countries, so I understand the customs and how to be customary in each of the different places. I also, what you'll get is an award-winning, recognized, sales-focused keynote speaker. And what I mean is, I'm delivering strategies and insights that create world-class sales teams, but more importantly, sales results, because I'm sharing real-world experiences and lessons, practical steps, as well as powerful stories. And I'm talking about good, bad, and failure stories. It's not all unicorns and rainbows that ultimately will empower you as the audience to then immediately take what I've given you and, most importantly, go put it into practical application right away. There's no fluffiness.
Yeah. So you established that you're a very experienced keynote speaker, which, audience, this goes out to 44 countries. You just heard him. He's done 14 countries. So if you're a country thinking about it, reach out to him. I'm sure things can work out. People out there that I talk to that listen to this show, you want to build your brand, go keynote speak. And you've done that for, 30 years, 14. What are a couple tips or pieces of advice you'd give somebody listening going, I want to be like Roderick?
First, don't expect it to happen overnight, right? And just like everything else in life, the more preparation that you do, the more successful you're going to be. And the third piece is go find a mentor that has been there and done that before so that you can learn both how to and how not to become a keynote speaker.
You're going to love this. And audience, you're going to love this. I've mentioned it before. The Navy SEALs, I just learned a couple of weeks ago, they have a time mantra. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. It's exactly what you're saying. Slow it down, build your speaking, do free ones, get out there, get your name, practice in front of people, and then you'll start growing. I get asked a lot when I speak, what do you do after? What does Roderick do? He spoke to 1,000 people. People are lining up at the door. Get your book, learn more. What's the best way to handle that?
What's the best word to? I'm sorry.
To handle after the show, after the speaking gig.
Oh,
and you got people coming to you.
your mental well-being. Look,
Okay.
I love being on the stage. I love interacting and connecting with folks out in the audience. I love selling and not selling, but signing books. But at the same time, I think the best part is being able to kind of take that speaker mask off, if you will, and then become just Roderick. I'm back in my room. I hit meditation. I turn off all the lights. I let my body relax. I let my brain relax. And most of the time, I'm not out moving around during the conference because, one, I don't want to be a distraction, for one. And secondly, I need some time to just kind of decompress myself. And so it gives me an opportunity to remember the human side of what I'm doing and also to focus on my why. And my why is provide and protect for my family. And I can't do that if I am not at the top of my game mentally and emotionally.
Audience, that's a perfect example of serving yourself before serving others. You went out and served everybody with a great speech. You come back now, you start serving yourself and your family. It's perfectly said.
Thank you.
The other things about speaking gigs that I hear, and there's a not controversy, but two sides of the fence. One, have a ton of information on the screen, or two, have very little information and engage with you should engage both ways with your attendees. Which one do you like, or is there a difference to you?
Neither.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm probably that midpoint. I am a visual person, but I also have to remember, again, all the different learning styles. So I mix things up on my presentations. And I think I'm doing it mostly because my goal is to have a one-on-one conversation with everybody in that room or audience. I'm not up there to give you a presentation. I'm not up there to prognosticate. I'm not up there to show you how amazing I am. No. What I want to do, as I said, is give you things that you can take and go put into practical application. So by doing that, I've got to be able to hit all the different learning styles. So I'll use video, I'll use visuals, I'll use words, I'll use particular color patterns, surveys, polls, etc. Because what I want to do is not just inform you. Here's a word for you, Steve. I want to edutain you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's one of the best answers I've ever heard.
Thank you.
And I'm going to borrow that. I was going to say steal, but that would be, I go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. I'm going to borrow that because you're right. And each speaking gig is going to be different. Each company, each convention, whatever you go, tailor it to who the people you're meeting with. Well, we've come to the end here. And it went fast. I knew it would because you're an expert. And sales we talked about before the show, happen everywhere. You wake up in the morning, you're selling your wife or husband, your kids, your dog, whatever. This is so important. Got a nice, fun question. We talked serious this whole time. I got a little improv for you.
Okay.
So I've got a table at a restaurant reserved for you. There's a table of 4. You're obviously going to sit in one of the chairs. And the other 3 empty chairs, who would you invite, dead or alive? Why would you invite them? And for me, the most important is, what food would you order?
Ooh, great question. Let's see, who would I invite? I would first and foremost have my late mom at the table.
Amen.
Because there's so much I need to talk to her about and share with her, right? And then the other 3 would be taken by my mentors and sponsors who have gotten me to where I am today.
Amen. I love that.
And what would we have? Texas barbecue.
You had to go there. Now I got to get another chair, manager, because I got to sit there too.
Come on in.
Right with you. Let's eat. Holy moly. Roderick, this has been fantastic. I just met you. You care about people. You bring value to people, and you did that today on the show. So I thank you so much. I know people listening are going, how do I connect with Roderick? So how can they find you?
I always say, if you can't find me on social media, you're not really looking. Right? I am very active. I would say to contact me, you can find me on LinkedIn at Roderick Jefferson. For both of the books, you can find them on my website at roderickjefferson.com. If you're on Instagram and Threads, you can find me at Roderick_J_Associates. You can find me at Roderick Jefferson on YouTube, or if you're on Facebook and Blue Sky, you can find me at The Voice of Rod.
Servant hearts, good salespeople make it simple. Just know his name. You'll find him. Do a quick Google search. Again, thank you. Thank you for blessing our audience, blessing me with this great show. Audience, here's your last call to action. And today especially, I've done a lot of great shows. This is a really darn good show to help you. But subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's not what you think. I know, and not that other people say that, they mean that. But here's what I mean. You're listening to this, you've subscribed, and you get this sent to you, and you listen and go, my friend just started a company. He needs help with sales. He's complaining all the time he doesn't have revenue. Well, share this podcast link with them. Have them listen for 10 or 15 minutes. Go, I'm going to reach out to Roderick. And they do. And Roderick either gets hired by them or just gives them a tip or learns something on his website, and they grow. You're part of that growth. You're part of that gift. So use the podcast as a gift. That's
Please,
what
if
they
I
are in
may,
my eyes. Yes, jump
I'd like to
in.
give a gift to your
Okay.
audience.
Let's do it.
So we talked about speaking tips. What I've done is actually written and put together a short ebook that I will offer to your audience for free. Send me an email to info@roderickjefferson.com. And in the title of your email, put in servant's heart. And that way I'll know it came directly from you. And what I'll do is I will send them, as I said, not only the tips and tricks, but the underpinning of that from a process perspective, step by step, what you need to do to become a keynote speaker.
Audience, there you go. A servant heart to the very end, giving away all their free stuff because they want to help people. Me and Ron want to thank you both. Thank you all for both. Hopefully more than both. Thank you
Me,
all.
myself, and I guess.
Yeah, three now.
All three of us.
We want to thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.